Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 100 of the Need to Nerd podcast. I'm your host, Heezy, and I'm joined by my co-host, Paddy friggin' B. How's it going today, Paddy B?
It's going so good. It's episode 100, baby.
Let's turn you down and let's turn it up. I got here uh, some hard juice there you go. You got some hard juice as well.
I do.
What you got? I got this Pompeii clementine berry natural hard. It's not natural. It's with natural flavors, hard sparkling water.
This is called Bonnie Doon Vineyard. It's the pink wine of the earth. And it had this little pop top thing underneath the cap, which was cool.
All right. Well, cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you, sir.
All right. So today's topic, by the way, will be the victory of nerddom. We, Patrick, have lived through two times in history: the victory of nerddom and now the post victory of nerddom. What I mean by that is, it used to be that being a nerd was looked down on, that it was a thing that you were made fun of. And then between the victory of the theater nerds and the gaming nerds, it has changed where it is now cool to be a nerd, and we're excited to talk about that for episode 100. Before we do that, though, quick fantasy football update. What you got for us?
Yeah. So this season, we were pretty close to filling our 10-team league. I think we've got all the people confirmed. I spoke to Morgan, got him in. We're still waiting for responses from 3 of our people. I'll tag again in the Discord. But we are willing to go up to 12 or split into 2 leagues if more people want to play. I know that when the season gets closer, that people get more hungry for that. So I'm leaving it open so that if more people do want to play, welcome to it, because we'd love to have you.
All right. Further housekeeping. I just want to mention quickly the Discord, where you can join that fantasy football league, where you can talk about Magic the Gathering, fantasy football, Star Wars, TV shows, all that fun stuff. Post puppy pics and amazing memes. All happens in the Heezy Game Media Discord. We have monthly Smash Nights on Thursdays for the fourth Thursday. And then once this YouTube channel hits 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a Switch, even if it's the new Switch when the new Switch comes out next year. We'll figure that out there. But head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that sub button, and let's talk about the victory of nerddom. So, I was thinking about what I wanted to do for the 100th episode of this show. And the show's gone through a couple of iterations. We had the original show with me, Mason Clark, Michael Merrill, and West. Had to cancel that show just due to time commitments, stuff like that. And, eventually decided I wanted to bring it back with West. It was a really fun time, and then, time commitment stuff happened again, and Patrick wanted to do the show when West couldn't do it anymore. And it's been really fun to see about the type of topics that I've gotten to do with different listeners, or with different hosts, I should say, and the type of listeners that we have across the different co-hosts. And one of the things that I think it really shows that it's kind of just this idea that nerddom is cool now, that it's like listening to a podcast like this one that goes really deep into something like Cobra Kai and the history of the Karate Kid. That just wasn't a thing that you just had ready access to, right? If you wanted something that in-depth about a thing that you love, it was kind of hard to find.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things I was thinking of when thinking about our victories, right? Is that this type of media in this space used to kind of be a fringe nerdy thing that was just exclusive to people in nerddom, or Like it was very limited. Now this media has been or this form of media has been adopted all over the place, and it seems like everybody's got a podcast.
Yeah.
So
And it's fun to do. Like, it's fun to get to sit down with one of my best friends and just get to talk about something that we're both consuming. Whether that's a TV show about an '80s movie that we both were fans of, or uh, breaking into like a new TV series or a new book, or really getting to talk about things that bring us joy and kind of that joy of nerddom. I want to just kind of take a victory lap here as nerds, and as for episode 100, and just kind of talk about things off the cuff here. What are some of like the victories of nerddom that you've experienced or that you really appreciate? Especially whether it's time on this podcast, whether it's things outside the podcast. What are some of yours, Petty?
yeah. So one of the first things that I thought of when thinking about victories and nerddoms is how far role playing games have come, and I think that's really important. Obviously, I think we've taken a step back this year, um, but I think we're still 2 steps forward, 1 step back um, with things. And RPGs, again, it used to be something super fringe, and uh, very limited. Um, it's kind of like you had to know about it, and you had to already almost be passionate about it um, to experience it. Like I didn't play my first role playing game till I was in college, as far as like D&D, Pathfinder, um, things like that. So um, I'd say that RPGs have come a long way, and uh, it's kind of the first victory in nerddom that I thought of.
Dude, my first victory in nerddom, and one I had to cover on this episode, um, is probably like one of the bigger victories in one of my nerddoms, and that's Disney picking up Aragon for a TV show. Like, that is like the nerdiest, like this gross, disgusting movie came out that basically destroyed the potential amazing franchise, and the fans and the nerds around it were like, so like, no, we want this, Disney. Like don't go do something weird. Like, just give us this. And to the point where it picked up enough traction that Christopher Paolini is like, hey guys, like, if you want to see it, like, let them know. Like, let them know on Twitter, let them know on Facebook. Like, and that's something that happens a lot in nerddom. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about other things that have really similar stories, like the Justice League Snyder Cut, where it's like nerds have power now. Like, we won because we as nerds always back up like what we say we want and like why we want it. And so you'll see a return on your investment, and if you invest in things that we are saying we want. And any thoughts on that?
Yeah. With my first thought when you mentioned nerds speaking up and getting positive things changed to, I thought of Sonic, right? The whole debacle with the
Yeah.
Hedgehog movie, and how like um, this character that they came up with was not true to any resemblance of Sonic.
What's upsetting though? Like, just hear me out. I really wish that we got a remake of the Gangster's Paradise trailer, because we never got another Gangster's Paradise trailer. We just had the one with the weird looking Sonic, and that trailer was so like, I don't know, it like hyped me up for that movie.
Well, I mean, Gangster's Paradise has a way of doing that, of hyping you up. I think that's almost goes without saying that song is pure fire.
Somebody's got to have made a fan edit of that. Fan edit Gangsters Paradise.
With other clips from
trailer.
the remake.
They had to have made it, right?
Someone nerdy somewhere had to have mashed it up.
I mean, that's the other victory of nerdom.
You just take the original audio and smush it all together.
Dude, I don't think anybody made it.
That's a shame. That's a loss if that happens.
Dude, I forgot how bad that Sonic looked.
That Sonic was pretty horrible.
Okay, that's so funny. No, that's a total another like a total another nerd victory. Um, what's your next one?
My next one is a little more. So initially, I thought about um, my personal experience of how being a theater kid was like um, very niche and um, almost wasn't cool, made fun of kind of thing for doing theater and not sports. But we'll talk more about that in a few episodes here when we get to our musical our theater episode that we're doing that I'm super stoked for. But something in that same kind of vein, um, the experience was like acapella groups, like something before. It's something I did as a high schooler, and it just because it's kind of like the choir kid equivalent of theater being popularized. But
Bro, you're about to get pitch slapped. Let's go.
I know with the sing off and it evolved to like sing off, and got popular, and Pitch Perfect, and that just like took over, and acapella is cool now. Like it's a really popular music genre that like a lot of people listen to.
Yeah, there's actually a vocal group. I think it's for the Oregon Ducks actually that I really liked back
Mm.
like a decade ago. I don't know if they're still together, but they were always fun to really listen to. And like, personally, I just want to say if we're going to be on this topic, I just want to say and let it be known on the podcast that DOS Sound Machine was completely robbed. They clearly had the better performance, and it was clearly scripted. And you know, the acapella community should be ashamed.
I have to ask: is it just? Do you have this strong of an opinion just because their finals number was Fallout Boy's um, "I'm on Fire"?
So actually, that's one of my least favorite Fall Out Boy songs. But
Yeah.
no, I just watch the performances and tell me that, like, honestly, tell me the DOS Sound Machine did not have the better performance.
Tell me that I'm wrong.
Look at,
Am I wrong?
Tell me that I'm wrong. She wore a crown and she came down in a bubble, Doug. Like, seriously, it is clearly the better performance.
You're not wrong. I love DOS Sound Machine. DSM. That's great.
Yeah,
And I love Flula.
All they do is win. All they do is win, man.
That's true.
Except for when it's scripted, and they don't.
Hey,
my next one, I I think that the my next one's got to be anime, man. Like when I was a kid, like the fact that we were anime nerds was like we were just destroyed and harassed as kids for liking anime. And now anime's like super popular. Like anime is like people are getting into anime. They're understanding that it's like not its own genre, and that, like there are genres within anime, and it is like as a shonen junkie, I'm so happy for it. I'm here for it, man. Like I'm not like the slice of life anime type of guy. Like I very much enjoy the shonen genre, but it is cool to see so many people get into something that like I've loved for my whole life, and for it to become mainstream. Like the Demon Slayer movie was like one of the most successful movies. It was at 2021 or something. It had, I think it set a record for like animated film release in the US, like beating Disney movies. It was crazy.
Wow, that's wild. Yeah, now I'm dipping my toes into anime, and I'm definitely the minority of now with that because anime is just so popular that yeah, people who haven't really watched it is kind of more the anomaly.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your next one?
My next one, I put down was technology, right? So just kind of um, the advancement of technology, specifically things like building PCs, like that used to be um, a, a super niche, like very. It was like limited to people who played like hardcore, like um, World of Warcraft, like um, the advances in gaming, things like VR. Um, were some of the things that I was thinking about as far as like our victories and nerddom that um, were not mainstream but are now the standard.
Dude, we should do a TikTok where we go to one of those VR arcades because I've never been.
Oh, they're super fun. I had access to a VR set when I was in St. George, going to school, and it was one of the coolest things to just like to set up, even just the space in your personal house and just to like to be in that space is really cool.
I mean, honestly, to speak of like the kind of to expand on this, like I think just the existence of something and the popularity of something like Ready Player One really
Mm-hmm.
goes to show the victory of nerddom, right? Like the existence of a book about nerds winning and also being like a post-apocalyptic like it's the nerdiest thing possible, and it's so popular. Ready Player One is like one of the most popular books ever.
Yeah, that are they making the second movie? Was that in production? I know that
There's no way they're making the thing. People hated the first movie.
I didn't think the first movie was actually that bad. I
I
liked it.
also didn't think it was that bad. Like there were parts that like I was Ready Player Two movie.
Yeah, the I think it was the book. That was what was talked about. Was the book was released? This Ready Player Two was released in 2020. So I guess we do have kind of a ways to go if that's going to happen. I felt like there was some chatter online about that, but
Yeah, I have not finished the Ready Player Two book yet, so
okay.
but I've listened to Ready Player One like quite a bit. Uh, yeah, I think that like the advancement of technology is really cool. I mean, you just can look at my background and see like I got a smart TV and Xbox that's more powerful than the computer sitting that we're recording on. And there's a MacBook sitting right there too, a Nintendo Switch sitting right there, a lightsaber that I would have killed for when I was like a little kid. Like they're so nerds have won, man. Like we have won.
Yeah, that in particular. See how far lightsabers have come. Like you used to have these, just these little rinky dink shoots out kind of thing, but now like
No, I
we have
remember when that
whole.
released. That thing was cool.
This thing was cool. It was super cool. It's a relic of an old time though, or whatever Obi-Wan tells Luke in A New Hope. Relic of a time long gone, something like that.
Well, speaking of, well, let's go to my next one. I think Star Wars is like another nerddom victory. Um, the way that you had to like go and really get, so you had to really seek out Star Wars content before, and now like there's so much canon Star Wars content that I as a huge Star Wars fan am not caught up with Star Wars. Like I have not seen all of the Bad Batch, which is something that I really love. It's the specifically
Mm-hmm.
the one that I'm behind on, and I think that's crazy to think about. Like, do you know somebody that loves Star Wars more than me, Patty B?
I don't. I really don't.
I take I
And
take May the Fourth off as a vacation day every year.
that's great. I should do that more often. Um, in fact, we should do that and watch the movies together.
Dude, you can.
Uh,
I've always what I ooh, and then I make I celebrate with champagne and hypnotic mixed because it looks like blue milk.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Um, oh, something. Actually, speaking of that, something that um, looked like blue milk that I made. I took a queer studies course this summer, and one of the last days of class, we all brought food that we would bring to a book club meeting, and I made some Brazilian lemonade. So that's where you take the limes, you throw it in a blender with sweetened condensed milk, sugar, ice, and some water. It's super super good. But then I put some black food coloring dye in it, and it totally turned it into blue milk. Um, which that was super cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What's cool is that we're saying the words blue milk on a podcast like everybody's going to understand what we're talking about. And they probably do. Like,
Right.
that's the. I mean, like, Disney now has an entire section of both theme parks dedicated to Star Wars. Come on. The nerds have won, man. We have won.
That's, in fact, speaking of Disney, that's its whole other like section of nerddom, right? That's like Disney adults, people that grew up our age and are that's a whole extra subclass of nerddom is being a Disney adult. Um, so we're winning. We're winning, baby.
Yeah, I would say kind of another one is we're in an interesting place where I think that there are some losses that we probably could get into, but we won't because this is a celebration episode. But I do wonder about like the sad things about like the death of the movie theater and like stuff like that that's currently happening. It's interesting. That's
give and take for sure.
Any others that you want to say before we kind of wrap up and
I would say that we need to just keep winning. Right, we're winning now. We might experience some setbacks and some losses, but it's only going to keep going further. And I think we're going to be here every single step of the way. Yeah.
Well, Patty, I just want to say thank you for 100 episodes. I don't know how many you were on yet. You should go figure that out.
I should go figure that out.
And it is hard to get to 100 episodes of a given podcast. As somebody that has now done it 3 times, it is not an easy task. Most podcasts stop, and this one included, stopped a few times, before you get even close. And, it's really cool to have somebody that was passionate about listening to this podcast become my co-host now. Shout out to West and for all he did for the show and the level of enthusiasm that he brought, and shout out to Mikey and Mason for their contributions in those early episodes. But it's been really fun, and here's to 100 more.
Here's to 100 more.
If people want to find you, where can they do that?
They can do that on Twitter at Paddy B MTG. I talk about, or I guess it's X now. I'm also on Threads too. I don't know exactly my username there because I just created the account, but you can check me out there as well.
Yeah, I am on TikTok and technically have a Threads, but kind of on a social media hiatus for the most part right now. But if you want to check out the TikToks, whether it's the Heezy Media TikTok or my Spencer Heezy is kind of where I do my nerdy stuff rather than my personal stuff. Check it out. Happy to see people there, and we'll see everybody next week with another episode of Need to Nerd. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and review, and we'll see y'all next time.